it was a positive experience. Initially, I would describe it as being very uncomfortable. This is mostly due to the fact that it made you discuss some things that kind of vary intrinsically. What stood out to me in these sessions was the willingness of the teachers to be vulnerable. This is largely due to the fact that Carlos presented himself as a member of the community before being a person that is leading a PD or a training or anything. He related to the audience. Once everyone realized he was a New Yorker just like them, rode the same trains as them, and had foregone many of the same experiences as the teachers, they kind of let their guard down. And it made for a more welcoming atmosphere to be vulnerable. Something that I walked away with personally, I was able to confront some of my own intrinsic biases, even small little nuances that I may make an off-color comment or something to that nature. I had to confront myself. And just looking at the mission of his own objectives, I think that was a large part of his design, especially within his curriculum, getting us to start within and then spread the benefit outwards, to the school community and then to the community at large. I will say in schools like ours that service communities that are lower on the socioeconomic status, things of that nature, it benefits these communities because these topics that he addresses, they don't get talked about. The spaces in which they do get discussed are often correctional facilities or places that are for discipline. So to have these discussions in a setting where learning takes place prior to any exposure to anything negative, like a correctional facility or a detention center, it helps us avoid that school to prison pipeline, and it also prepares us to have adult conversations long before these children reach adulthood. I had some exposure to restorative justice in the sense of it being a correctional model in New York State. But Carlos's restorative power program, it kind of strips the correctional aspect from that and makes it more appropriate for an educational setting. So repairing harm that has been done, this is a restorative justice model. What Carlos does in this model is essentially look within the student, find out what the triggers are for that student after making a connection with the student. In doing this, students are more vulnerable, more accessible, and more open to discussing the things that plague them, as they do in any other community. But in a community like ours, again, these are things that don't happen. These discussions don't take place. So now that they do, we're more equipped and better prepared to service them as their teachers, leaders, and community members. As he talked about in some of his sessions, we just kind of cover up everything that we dealt with without ever addressing it. The restorative practice allows us to address it directly and address what the effects are and why those effects are taking place. There's power in that in itself, and from there, different diagnoses can take place as far as what's going on intrinsically with us. In doing this, we can address a lot more from a therapeutic standpoint and an education standpoint. A lot of us, we found ourselves in a space of vulnerability as adults. That is not a place of comfort, and it's not a place of familiarity. It's not a place that we go often. But in going through these sessions with Carlos, we were able to go there within the first 24 hours. So it was almost like a welcome back to yourself sort of session.